Chapter 8. Before They Call. If you have read this far thoughtfully, you know that the Christmas story, like everything else in life, has two sides, the outer and the inner, the objective and the subjective, the transitory and the permanent. We love the story of Mary and Joseph, their journey to the crowded inn, the birth of Jesus in the stable, and the flight into Egypt. We love the little town of Bethlehem, immortalized in story and song. We become children again as we sing the Christmas carols, visualize the star, the angels, the wise men, and the shepherds. No matter how we look at this marvelous and magnificent event, it does something to us. It has the power to soften our hearts and to bring joy to our souls and peace to our mind. Why? What gives it this power? It is the Spirit of God moving in us, awakening us to the fact that this divine event of 2,000 years ago can also be the inner experience of each of us today if we only release the Christ within us. You who have read these lines have played each one of the parts in the Christmas drama as you have moved from things to ideas, from sense to soul. You are Joseph who guards and protects Mary. You are Mary magnifying the Lord within you. You are the shepherds kneeling in quiet adoration before the cradle. You are the wise men seeking the light that never goes out. Bethlehem is the human mind. Here your cramped and crowded thoughts push the Christ child into the background of the stable, and only the outer or objective side of Christmas is celebrated. It becomes the festival that must be interpreted in terms of pocketbooks, checkbooks, department stores, toy shops, tinsel ornaments, lights, music, gifts, and innumerable Santa Claus figures. The other side of the Nativity is subjective and unseen. It is the birth of Christ in the human heart. It is the creative process of mind releasing in us the Christ concept of ourselves as sons of God, heirs and joint heirs to all the Father is and has. We all love to give and to receive Christmas presents and particularly enjoy the beautiful wrapping which seems to be so much a part of the gift. The wrappings, however, are soon discarded and forgotten, while the gift remains to give us pleasure and to remind us of the giver. C. Willard Fuller, in the sermon We Behold His Glory, says, "Ideas are like gifts, and the words we use in expressing our ideas are like the wrapping. Words are important, but they are only the colorful paper in which we wrap our ideas as we exchange them. The truth contained in the idea is what we cherish." The early Christians had a great idea about Jesus, a truth which they had discovered and experienced, which they cherished. In expressing this idea and giving it to their neighbors, they wrapped it up in beautiful packages. Ever since, there have been some people who have mistaken the wrapping for the gift, who have cherished the wrappings and lost sight of the beauty of the idea they contained. Unless you look at the Christmas story in terms of God's intention, unless you recognize its purpose and accept its mission, you too may mistake the wrapping for the gift. When the season passes, what happens to your joy and radiance? Do you carry them with you through the year? Better still, do you carry you through the year? Or did you miss the idea under the wrapping? Can it be that you left the babe in the stable? You must be realistic about this festival. What do you see and hear? What do you feel about the Incarnation? What does it mean to you? The material gifts that abound on the day are merely symbols of the spiritual gifts given to us, imperishable gifts that we cannot wear out or destroy. Gifts that grow brighter with us, stronger with exercise, and dear with familiarity. Gifts that we should be expressing every moment of every year. Such gifts as these are life, because it is. Love, because life moves to a fuller development of greater life. Light, because it perceives an infinite expression yet to be. Power, because there is no opposing force and because it cannot stop short of action. Peace, because no part can be antagonistic to any other part. Beauty, because all parts are duly proportioned. Joy, because it finds pleasure in the self-expression which its work affords. We use the words sick, poor, unhappy. They are wrappings. We say failure. That too is a wrapping. We greet one another with the wish, Merry Christmas. Back of these declarations, back of these words is something that is real and eternal. If you are tied to words, to symbols, to wrappings, it is because you are accepting them as real. Jesus said, "Judge not according to appearance or symbols, but judge righteous judgment." No other words get into the holy paper and tinsel and get to the contents as these do. If for you Jesus never gets out of the stable, if the Christ is never born in you, your life will be empty and forlorn. What is this mighty event that sets the world to singing, giving up and giving and loving? Is it just a pious myth trumped up by ecclesiastical minds? Or is it the meaning of the story practical and pragmatic? What think ye of Christ? What do you find beyond the objective Christmas? What do you find under the wrapping? Zechariah said, He hath wrought redemption for his people. How? What is the answer? Where is it? In the Christmas story. Thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save the people from their sins. What sins? Everything that is less than perfect. Jesus always meet man at the sharpest point of his needs. Where should you look on Christmas morning? To the tree and the gifts under it? No, not there. Turn first to the Christ child within yourself. Let the newborn concept come out in your life. Lifted above everything else, you are dealing with a baby that must be allowed to grow, a baby that will overcome the world. Can you hear the undertones of the unbelievers at the first Christmas scene? What fools these men are, coming with their gifts to a baby. How can a baby help a man in trouble? How can a baby heal a leper, open blind eyes, and unstop deaf ears? How can a baby multiply substance? Do you see why the Magi were the wise ones? They worshipped at a cradle, a small things, you say. Yes, but in the cradle was all the power of the universe, the incarnation of God, the hope of mankind. That is why the Magi stand there with gold, frankincense, and myrrh. That is why we celebrate Christmas. There is a baby in that crib who will one day change the heart and life of the world, who will bring peace and brotherhood to the earth. You can talk about Christmas, preach about it, and sing about it until doomsday. You can celebrate the Christmas 7 days a week. But if you do not feel the impact of the truth in Christmas story, you will emerge from the celebration unchanged. What is all this fuss about? It is about a newborn idea that must grow up in a man and become part and parcel of his consciousness. Answer me. What think ye of Christ? What think ye of this babe in Bethlehem's crib? Is he real, or is he a figment of the imagination? What is this incarnation which the Church has preached for the past 2,000 years? Is it true, or is it false? Is it valid, or is it fiction? What is this feast in which God and man came together? Is there a power that can fill the vacant and low places in your lives? Is there a power that can make the rough places smooth and the crooked places straight? Is there a power that can lift us from these beds of pain and make us whole? The Christmas story says there is such a power, and Isaiah said, the zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. Why haven't we found this power sooner? Because we have never gotten under the wrapping. We have been observing an abbreviated Christmas. We have substituted an X for Christ, but Xmas is symbolic too. For peace, it substitutes noise. For carols, it substitutes carousals. For reality, it substitutes symbols. Christ is not an unknown quantity to be designated as X. Let us keep the Christ in Christmas. Let us celebrate the whole anniversary, not part of it. The X belongs in the Old Testament. The birth of a Savior was prophesied in the Old Testament, but it became a reality in the New. We have talked much in this book about need and fulfillment, prayer and answer, problem and solution. We have learned that the answer always precedes the prayer. It is the unknown quantity that man searches for in his personal problems. We all wish answers to our prayers and solutions to our problems. The sick want to be healed, the impoverished want supply, the sorrowing want comfort. These are all legitimate desires whose fulfillment depends upon our understanding of the principle. Jesus told us to seek first the kingdom of heaven. When we put first things first, when we know and understand principle, the answer will come automatically, and all these things shall be added unto you. Our questions will be answered when our consciousness receives and embodies the divine presence. Answers will appear when the principle is properly applied. Do you see now why our Christmas must be both objective and subjective? If the Christ is to be born in us, and this is the real implication of the Incarnation, we must not only number the years backward to his birth, but we must bring them forward into our own experience. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will give it unto them. What does this promise mean? It means that every problem in your life carries with it the answer. The solution comes with the problem. It is revealed when the principle is properly applied. It also means that you are adequate to any need, circumstance, or condition that may arise in your life. My grace is sufficient for thee. It is done. Our health and supply exist in precisely the same place in which the need of healing and supply arises. The more we embody the divine presence, the quicker we shall see it manifest. Now hear the proclamation again. Unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. Are you in need of healing? Then ask yourself these questions and ponder the answer. What is health? Health is a divine state of being. What is life? Life is a state of consciousness. What is the body? The body is an effect of consciousness. What governs and controls the body? Consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is God. How do you prove your dominion over sickness and disease condition? By realizing that the government of the body is upon God's shoulders, and God has absolute control over that which appears as disease or a problem. You love Christmas with its festivity, music, and laughter, of course, but you must love something else more. You must love that which you are revealed to be in the narrative of the Nativity. This is your Bethlehem, your city of David, and your new birth. In the lowly stable of your heart, there is born the power of truth, the power that changes everything in your life that is unlike God, the power that makes you strong instead of weak, the power that makes you rich instead of poor. Are you looking for answers? Then stop where you are. The problem was solved before your prayer was said. When you know that discouragement, limitation, restriction, and sickness are the outcropping of your own consciousness, you will rise above them through the realization of your oneness with God. This healing is not the result of God's action at this point, for God is always the same. The healing comes when you lift yourself to a higher plane of existence. What shall we say to you if you complain because your prayers are unanswered? There is only one thing to say. Ye ask amiss. Your prayer is unanswered because you believe that God's universe is incomplete. You are asking him to give you something, solve something, do something, heal something, and your prayer is consequently without power. Think of the joy of being able to say, the government shall be upon his shoulder, when you give the problem in its entirety over to him, and let him handle it, the problem in your home, in your job, in your social relationship. Your prayer is answered. Before they call, I will answer, is the promise. The government shall be upon his shoulder. Believest thou this? Then stop looking to persons, places, conditions, and things outside yourself. Stop looking to your minister or practitioner. Ye ask amiss. Whenever you seek anything apart from or outside your own consciousness, if the kingdom of God, reality or being, is within you, everything you need is within you and must be claimed there. It is done. The all-good is an instant manifestation. The good that you are seeking is seeking you. It exists in abundance and is forever manifested. Know this, believe it, accept it. The realization of this truth is the answer to your prayer. That which I decree, I am. That which I accept, I have. When I receive and embody the divine presence within my consciousness, that consciousness is the answer to my needs. All these things shall be added. Merry Christmas. How many times have you said that to your friends? What do you think, what do you feel, and what do you say in these glad words? You are saying that the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Yes, peace, the very peace the world is seeking right now. It begins with me and with you and you and you, and of the increase of his government there shall be no end. Beloved, the dayspring from on high hath visited us, to give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet in the way of peace. The song of the angels still lingers in our ears. The promise hath been fulfilled. The new day has dawned. The new sun has risen, with healing in his wings. Unto us, unto me, in me, around me, under me, over me, and through me, a child is born. A son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders. End of chapter. End of book. This audio presentation of The Answer Will Come by Robert A. Russell has been brought to you by AudioEnlightenment.com. Copyright 2015. All rights reserved.